What is up, everyone? I am Kyle. I'm with Danny. And today we got a special guest. We have the one, the only, Tyler Disney. Tyler, how is it going? Tell me what you are up to.
Right now, I just got home from doing 2 photo shoots
Nice.
all in one day, and yeah, it's been pretty good.
What are you doing? You doing mainly portraits at the moment?
Yeah.
Right on, right on.
I,
Uh, yeah, cool. So yeah, Tyler is a photographer. He also works on set. He gets to see. He also sees a lot of movies early. I'm jealous of
That's
him,
cool.
but I'm also not jealous because I'm too lazy at the same time.
It all works out in the end.
But yeah, Tyler's here to talk about our main topic today, which is Attack of the Doc. But we'll get to that later. Let's start off with a few cringe videos to make Danny feel right at home.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, we'll just
Oh,
get it out of
yeah.
the way
Let's
right in
do
the
it.
beginning.
Let's do it. Are you ready for this? So let me make sure you're ready for this. Tyler. We'll do the first one.
All right.
I teased it
He
a little
gets,
bit, but
he
here
gets
we
to ride
go.
shotgun
You ready
with
for
me
this?
on this
All right. This is the coolest guy I've ever
nightmare.
met. Like, we need more of these people in this world. Here we go. You ready for this?
There she goes. There she goes again. Fuck that shit. I fucked up my pineal gland during a car accident. Legend shit.
The best is the
Pineal
when he walks away and on the back of his jacket says "Cunt Destroyer."
I did not.
Did you see
catch
that?
No.
Oh, that was beautiful.
No, I didn't.
So, Danny, explain
Oh, my.
what we're looking at here.
It's a person with a damaged pineal gland.
A pineal gland, so like he's trying to see his third eye.
Yeah.
Like, what is he? Well, that makes sense. He seems like he's on something.
Yes.
But he
and
seems like he's on meth. That doesn't activate
there's
the
like
pineal gland.
one. What's that? One knee
One knee pad? One.
One
Just
knee
one. He's
pad.
got one bad knee, of course.
Maybe, or is that a part of the style of the pants? I don't know. That's some sort of spiked collar.
Yeah.
Something.
I don't know.
Clearly, double D breasts, maybe.
Are those real? They don't look real. They don't know.
I couldn't stare
No.
long enough to try to figure
no,
it out.
this belly and his top half of the whole thing.
But I mean, color coordinated wise, on point.
Perfect,
I mean,
right?
the ensemble matches.
Right. You
But-
see a lot
Yeah.
of people like this in LA, right, Tyler?
he reminds me of the guy I saw yesterday at an intersection.
Either directing traffic or traffic directing him.
No, he was like mentally crazy, like running into cars with his body.
He was manifesting traffic.
That's what I'm saying. He was becoming a traffic hazard in his own right.
All right, let's check out this cool girl. I want to meet this girl. You ready for this?
Go for it.
Let's do it. Wait.
It's my
wait,
jam.
Wait.
Oh no!
What?
Holy shit, that worked!
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I'm amazed.
I think we were shocked. I was as shocked as she was.
I was, yeah.
It's
the
also
first time I-
dangerous.
it's a
also
little dangerous.
dangerous.
Dude, that propane tank is leaking,
There's-
right?
well,
there has to be
yes.
something
Yes.
wrong with that. That is ridiculous.
It's been shown when a lot of these things ignite, they lead to chaos.
Oh,
but if that goes backwards, she could have
man.
exploded.
Is this what you're into, Tyler, at all? I'm.
Yeah, I'm into this.
You're actually into it? Okay, all right. We're on to
Like
something.
the best.
Like, I'm slightly into it, but I'm like kind of like closeted into this. Like, I'd be like, all right,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say it out loud, type
No,
of situation.
but like I've seen some weird shit on TikTok.
yeah.
And this is mild.
Are you saying you're into people? You guys are into people trying to light their farts on fire?
A little bit.
No,
Just the power of the
not,
fart.
not like that. It's just the random videos that pop up on my TikTok.
Oh, the chaos.
It's his
the madness.
algorithm.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what his algorithm loves. Fart videos.
It's chaos.
I was going even deeper. Is more like near-death propane fatalities, like specifically, like people like death videos. I thought you guys had a specific type of death video.
No, I
mean,
follow this
okay.
guy on Twitter,
Uh-huh.
now X, which is a weird way to say it.
Uh-huh.
But like It's like crazy CCTV clips,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and it's just like a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the old
Yeah.
Watch People Die
Well,
subreddit that
Yeah.
essentially they made their own website, watchpeopledie.tv.
Well, like Intensity, like is an
Or
aggregate
Intensity
to all
back in
of
the
those.
day,
Well,
yeah.
still, all those websites exist. There's so many like fringe websites that are just CCTV like cuts.
Yeah,
Just like,
of just
hey, look at this guy
random
getting
shit.
struck by lightning while working on a scaffold, and you're like, whoa, what? Jesus, he flew like 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of the things. I don't mind the accident videos. I can't watch any like mutilation.
The mutilation's
or,
too much.
Yeah.
Where it's
or
like
cartel videos
the
specifically. Too. I
yes,
can't watch
yes, the beheadings and all the. I got exposed to that
that's-
stuff.
Yeah, I
far
can't.
younger than I wanted to, and it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like the old.
Well, Rot.com and stuff, and we were
Back
all
in
like,
the day.
most of us are latchkey children, so like we never had parental supervision, and we had just the 90s internet.
Right.
The 90s internet, something you want to leave your kid at home with.
Like, I don't know. I was like way too young, and this is
Probably
probably
for the
what
better.
corrupted my mind. I was watching 1,000 Ways to Die
Oh, that's
Mhm.
a rough one.
Okay.
when I was like 9 years old,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
so it probably
Yeah.
corrupted that I'm so used to the violence now
Yes.
that it doesn't like affect me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people are desensitized now, I
Same
think,
here.
in a way.
My good for the
Yeah.
week that I'll bring up later is a movie I watched way too young, like
Oh.
4 or 5.
I'm intrigued. Okay.
But I love it. I love it. I watched,
Okay.
but we'll get to it. We'll
Yeah,
get to it.
yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely desensitized, and you're younger than us, Tyler. So you're probably even more dead inside. So it's just gonna keep going, I imagine,
The
until
machine
we're
does it.
all
That's-
robots, right?
That's what it does. It whittles people down. One day at a time.
All right. Let's check out this girl that's really upset about the fish fillet. You ready for this?
Yeah, that's how the segue. Yes.
All right.
Now I am.
All right,
Now I
here
am.
we go. Let's do this.
Straight up, fuck you if you order the fish fillet at McDonald's. Personally, I've never tried it, but it looks rank. Stop eating that shit. It's so gross.
Why
mean,
is she so upset? Is she
I
like a
could kinda get
pescatarian,
it.
I guess?
No, not
Vegan?
necessarily.
I'm not getting vegan vibes.
Not
That's the thing. I'm
necessarily.
not getting vegan vibes.
Let's be real. It
No,
could, it could be
no.
hyperbolic. It could be for tongue-in-cheek comedy, but
Yeah.
there's also a level to some of those fish fillets when they there are people who have found them like weeks later and they look the same. It's like scary.
It is. Like I've seen the thing where they do the bun specifically
Yes.
with the McDonald's, and
Yeah.
over like a year, there's very little
Yeah.
deterioration.
Well, that thing is built to withstand like
Yeah.
fallouts.
Oh
No.
boy.
Yeah, McDonald's is the restaurant of the Fallout games.
Yeah, they're just still going strong.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. They're like still no. We have less.
Yeah.
Whatever's left of society is still eating here.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Not so much cringe, more of a parody. We all know this guy. You ready for this?
Let me just start off by saying this. If you're not up by 2 a.m., you'll never be successful. You'll never be successful. Let me walk you through a successful person, aka me, morning routine. I've got an alarm set for 1:25 a.m. and an ice bath already prepared next to my bed.
cold plunge.
Immediately upon awakening, I cold plunge. Don't let Big Pharma fool you. You want to spike your cortisol levels as high as possible, as early as possible. I'm dressing out the door by 1:32. I train lower body. I come back. I eat 6 ounces of duck liver and a pint of egg yolk. Just the yolk, never any carbs. Carbs make you fat. From there, I go right into my prayer, right into my breath
prayer.
work,
Don't
right into
forget
my
prayer.
meditation, right into my gratitude exercises, right into my 3-week vision board, right into my 5-month vision board,
he's
right
got
into my
so much
3-year
stamina.
vision board.
Oh,
I go
boy.
back to the gym. I train upper body, and I
Second
finish with
band.
15 minutes in an
Oh
infrared
my
sauna,
God.
15 minutes in a charcoal sauna, and 22 minutes in a steam room. I do 4 rounds of that. I come back, wake up the kids, get them ready for it. I've done more by 6 a.m. than you've done this entire week. And that is why I have a podcast studio in my home and you don't. Because a morning routine's like this and nothing to do with the trust fund my father set up for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I mean, it almost was a bit too long because like the level of like emotional drain you have to take from the joke takes
Right.
you too far, almost into the abyss. But that was when he especially said he was like spike your cortisol levels early and fast. I was like, oh no, that sounds terrible.
No. Oh boy.
Fight or flight. Fight
Yeah,
or
just
flight.
getting that flight
every
and flight
morning.
reflex
Yes, yeah.
constantly.
That's a good. That was
It's just
good.
exhausting.
That was one of the
It's
better
just-
parodies, though. Than what we've thrown up some pretty rough ones. That one
Yeah.
actually
He thinks-
was very clever.
He thinks he's Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
What is it, Mark? Because Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg gets up at 3, and he posted that like what was that, like a year or two ago? His whole routine, and that feels like a parody of that a little bit. Yeah.
That's pretty spot on.
For sure.
He was pretty crazy about all that.
All right. Let's get into the news, folks. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. So, first news story of the week. We're going to get a little techie. How are you on the tech, Tyler? Are you a big tech guy at all?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Last week, so we talked about the Linus Tech Tip drama. I don't know if you heard about that at all. Recently.
No.
Okay, so there's like a lot of with the YouTube tech scene going on, but today we're talking about the RTX 4060 is going down in price after coming out with this very terrible product.
Okay.
Added, what was it? Originally $600.
The
4060?
I think
It was-
$699 maybe.
Because no, that was the full. Yeah. Because the 4080 was like 800, which was way too much for 8 gigabytes. It's essentially $100 a gigabyte.
I mean,
And this card, but essentially, what
Uh-huh.
the point of it is going down in price because obviously no one's buying it.
yeah.
Because we all saw this on the we saw this on the horizon when we talked about it. What was it like 2 months ago, maybe?
Oh,
When it first was released.
well, there was already drama happening before it released that was going on with just the SKUs and the pricing. So this has just been the fallout and continuation of that.
Yeah.
Also, we have to look at it from like just an overall like standpoint of multi-attack. The COVID ended essentially in a way where people weren't buying as many video cards. You hit like a data mining bust, or not data mining, a cryptocurrency mining bust. So not many people are buying video cards for that. Less people are gaming right now because people are kind of in a money crunch. So less people buying
Yeah.
video cards in general because of the economy. And then these weird business practices that they've been doing for so long are catching up to them. So it's like a multilateral assault on their market, and it's collapsing on them. So they're pushing back by lowering prices aggressively.
Yeah, they're lowering aggressively. The market's going to self-correct. I saw this coming. Everyone saw it. Essentially, anyone that's not a Bitcoin miner saw this coming, more or less.
Well, each one of the quadrants you could point to and be like, oh, this is going to end bad.
This is going to go in bad. This is going to end bad. And I mean, people who just needed a video card to edit their videos, like me. I just saw there's no way they could handle this amount of supply and demand, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if people are having to buy full computer cases just to get, or full PC rigs just to get video cards, like Max had to do that.
Right,
then
yeah.
That's like, it's absurd.
And I know a lot of people that are like big PC guys that would invest so much time and energy to building something and just going over to Mac because they just need something simple to work on. Like they'll get gaming through their Xbox and PlayStation 5. They don't need a PC game or a gaming PC.
Yeah, it's where you have those ecosystem changes because it
And
becomes
that's-
easier.
Yeah.
And I noticed like I would say like some PC only games are now going to console.
Yeah, we're getting a lot
Like
of
that.
that, but we're also getting a lot of Steam stuff, getting a lot of old console stuff, like The Last of Us. A lot of the PlayStation stuff is now coming. Spider-Man came to PC finally, which is how I played it. I'm probably not going to play the new Spider-Man for like a year and a half till it eventually comes to PC, because I'm the type of person who won't buy a console anymore. But I see that people like that. Like they'll get a MacBook and they'll get a gaming console. It'll satisfy their needs, and they have this pretty productive workforce that's not the greatest, but it's well rounded and it gets the job done for them. Tyler, you're a Mac user, right?
Yeah, I'm using a Mac and I have a PS5.
I see. So like pretty much that's. A lot of people are going that route, it seems.
I feel like that this is like not necessarily cyclical, but this has been a trend that we have seen in a way before. Like, look back to the era of when the PS3 and like the Xbox 360 were coming out, and you saw this weird kind of leap ahead in consoles where, okay, the best games you could get right now are easier to maintain and do on the console, and slowly but surely PC caught up to it again and surpassed the generation. And then it kind of happened again with the PS4, But I feel like with the PS5, we've hit this point where it's so dismissible, it's so debatable that the value in both realms, that it's almost like a wash. It almost becomes a wash every time, and you can't really justify one over the other because they're both almost the same now.
Almost.
Yeah, like it feels like we're at like this point where, I mean, look at the 360 looks like or not the 360, the current Xbox looks like a fucking computer. It looks like a tiny
Yeah,
fridge,
pretty
but it
much.
also looks like a computer too. But then you
Yeah.
also still have these little fringe issues, which we'll get into when we talk about Larian Studios and them making it available on the Xbox and the differences between what the users are going to have to face. Well, we'll circle back to that. But my whole point is that this cat and mouse game between the console and the PC gaming markets is starting to merge in a weird way, and they're overlapping instead of leapfrogging now.
I get that. Yeah. What are you playing on the PS5 currently, Tyler?
Mostly like right now I'm playing Gran Turismo.
Classic.
Okay. Nice.
Good series.
Yeah.
Always solid.
Yeah.
Always solid. Yeah, so it's interesting to see this approach. I feel like what we have, like in our house, the big box ATX computers are probably might be on its way out. Like I could see my next computer being an ITX because that's what is the standard, and then after that, maybe it's even a mini computer. Just in the next 10 years, it's gonna change.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be that standard.
Well,
box
more
format.
people have those ATX computers than ever before, so
Yes.
now there's going to be a natural change within just the hobbyists because they want to differentiate. It's just natural for people to want to. You see it in politics, you see it in day-to-day life all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're too similar. I want to be a little more edgier. So people will just start building those different cases out of just not even like the practicality, but the difference in appearance to other people, who are
Right.
computer hobbyists. And that's great. I think that's fine because then you're going to get. There used to be a much more DIY approach to computers, and I feel like consoles has kind of take that away. But I think we're starting to get back to that again.
I think Raspberry Pis help with that. too.
Yes, yeah, Raspberry
Stuff like
Pis.
that.
The smaller, more mobile computer designs help with that.
Mhm.
The idea and the event, even of the Steam Deck, helps with that because to me that's still a computer.
Steam Deck, yeah.
It's not even
that's
really
poppin'.
like a handheld device. That's just like a LAN machine you carry around.
True.
Yeah.
True. All right, let's move on to the Larian Studios thing since you brought that up. On that note about Larian Studios and the issue with Microsoft and PlayStation. Danny, you want to take this?
Yeah, there's been this crazy change in the paradigm of how Microsoft handles the development for their consoles. There's the two different Xbox consoles. There's the one that's essentially the Elite and the basic model. They always use like a Series S and a Series X to like compete them. The naming scheme at Microsoft is ridiculous. But the problem is developers have to develop equally amongst both consoles. Even though one is more powerful than the other, you still need to be able to play every game identically on each console. This game, Baldur's Gate, did so well that Microsoft was like, hey, we're going to change that rule for you. And our top model is the one that can have cooperative play, split screen. And the bottom model will not be able to do any type of split screen at all co-op. That means if you want to do co-op and you have a lower end Xbox console, you are completely strong-armed out of that. You have to play online. Can't play with anyone you live with. No friends or family. It's still weird. That's the thing that goes
so
back to what we were
weird.
talking about, where I'm like, I feel like the consoles are kind of getting a little muddy with some of these things, with the different types of power or hardware power like scaling to try to compete with prices and the PC market. It's absurd, and you get these kind of moments where this happens and they're just like, well, we really want this money, so we're not going to deny Larian Studios this game. And I'm not surprised that out of all games right now, Baldur's Gate 3 is the one that causes Microsoft to make this change.
Yeah.
So this is both surprising but makes sense because it's so popular. It really does.
It makes perfect sense, and we see this a lot, mainly with it's called the Nintendo tax, because when people develop on Xbox or PlayStation, it's nice, it's solid, they have an open SDK, and then they go and try to import it for Nintendo, like the Switch, and it's like a nightmare, and it's usually like double the price to use their development mode and all that nonsense. So I see similar vibes here, essentially.
Did you hear any of that stuff with Microsoft and what's going on with them getting hammed up in the UK courts about the merger because
Yes.
it's over? But did you hear how they fixed it? Kind of, or they're
No.
trying to push it past the
That
goal
I
line.
haven't heard.
So they're moving this whole thing is getting tied up over cloud-based distribution, and they think that Microsoft essentially has a monopoly on the cloud-based distribution video game rights in like a certain aspect that bothers the UK courts. So what Microsoft is doing is they're partnering up with Ubisoft to give them rights to that and essentially say, okay, well now Ubisoft is getting the money for it directly, and we're getting a kickback from them, and this allows them to maybe renegotiate the deal and move it past the courts. But that's just such a weird thing where I'm like, these small little things that they're having to do to try to still become larger companies and skirt laws, and just it's so weird that they're even involving Ubisoft, because I'm like, why can't this fucking company die or at least
I
get
hate
bought up?
Ubisoft.
I hate them so much. I hate them
Hate
so
them
much.
So much.
They just hate everybody. They're mean people.
No.
Yeah.
I understand, because what bothers me
Mhm.
is that whole Bethesda deal now.
Mhm.
Oh yes, the Bethesda deal. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bethesda.
What bothers
I
me-
forgot about that.
They can't, like, to play Starfield.
Right.
Can't, because I still have an Xbox One.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that means I would have to go out and buy a $500 Xbox
Right.
just to play that.
See, yeah, and this is.
And that's what, like, it can't go to PS5. Like, how they would make more money with that.
It's frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the solution. I mean, the Steam approach seems to be it, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like people will want exclusivities. That's the only way a console seems to be able to thrive. Like, imagine if they put PlayStation put Spider-Man day one on Steam.
Yeah.
I don't think people would be buying PlayStation 5s as much.
No, not at all. Their sales would
I
tank
think-
instantly
At least that's my assumption. But then again,
because
who
it's more
knows?
accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, when there's a console shortage and multiple times throughout the last generation and this generation, there's going to be times where people are like, well, fuck it, I always have my computer. I'll just upgrade that and then get it now.
True.
I won't have to be strong-armed by the fact that I can't actually buy a console. You can always build a computer. Always.
always
Any day, night, whatever. If you don't know how to do it, you could pick it up yourself and DIY. But it's with consoles, you're like, oh, if the market's fucking empty, what do you do?
Yeah.
You can't just build the PlayStation
I
5. You probably could try, but it's not going to work.
It's not gonna work.
It's not going to be fun. It's way more of a
No.
nightmare.
No.
So now you're stuck in this decision where you're like, why? Like you, where you're like, well, I'll wait to play it later, or I won't play it at all. Or people will pirate it. That's usually what I do, but I pirate it
Pirate.
way down the line.
Piracy is usually the way that people go, especially out of
Single
country.
player, yeah.
It's like people think that like piracy is like a bad thing. It's like no,
Mm.
look at like Australia, who always gets shit late, and they're just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna wait, because it's a cultural thing. People want to
Yeah.
be in the moment.
They don't want to miss the epoch of the conversation,
Yeah.
so they're gonna. This is a natural occurrence that happens especially in like the free market. That's why cryptocurrency and all that shit sprouted up, because the market demanded it in a weird way, so it pulled for it. Piracy will evolve out of these situations where one, you can't emulate games anymore through a digital download because they'll take it off of their store like they just did. Microsoft just closed down the old 360 store, so all your
Right.
digital purchases on there can't get them anymore. There's certain things that you're locked out of now, money that you've spent that you can no longer access, things you can no longer access that you
Yeah.
paid for. So now people start getting them in the way they can, which is piracy.
Yeah.
If that's the only way, you're gonna do it.
And we're seeing that with like Disney Plus taking off Willow. People wanted that Willow series. I
Well,
wasn't
some-
one of them. But
I mean, yeah, some
someone
peop-
wanted it.
Oh, I mean, people heard so much like kerfuffle about it even being bad or good. People said, "Well, let me see," and if they
Yeah.
couldn't see, they're like, "Well, then I have to fucking download it."
Exactly.
I have no
They
choice.
can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
There's no place. There's no physical media, and it's off of Disney Plus. So there's nothing you can really do about it.
This is how Japan would curve a lot of their piracy issues with their movie releases.
Right,
Do
yeah.
simultaneous releases digitally and allow everyone to have access to it. If people can't get it because it's nation locked or region locked, they'll pirate it.
Yeah. What were you saying, Tyler?
Heard, like, because like this came out recently, like a couple days ago,
Mhm.
that put out Loki, Mandalorian 1 and 2,
Oh wow.
and Wanda on 4K Blu-ray disc.
Interesting. Okay. Nice. See,
Like-
people are gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
Well, yeah.
Alright.
It only takes one person.
and basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Let's save the news for who's the best person to have sex with for next week.
On Baldur's Gate 3.
And Baldur's Gate 3.
All right, yeah.
We'll move on to.
I mean, we're gonna. this game has got long legs.
I want to just talk on this real quick. WGA news. So,
Oh, yeah.
they went back to the table recently, and the AMTPA essentially dismissed it. So, WGA proposal for minimum wage increase was 6% in year one, 5% increase in year two, 5% increase in year three. The initial AMTP counteroffer was 4% in year one, 2% year two, and 2% year three, with a one-time residual base increase of 2.5%. Now they came back to the table recently, and we got this new offer, which was 5% increase for year one, 4% increase for year two, 3.5 increase for year three, and this is the kicker. So, do you know what a Article 14 writer is?
I don't even know what any of these percentages are.
What about you, Tyler? Do you know what an Article 14 writer is? Is he there? Did we lose him?
I do not.
Okay, so an Article 14 writer is essentially a showrunner that is also a writer. So he's in the AMTPA as well as the WGA, right?
Okay.
So the new article guarantees that an Article 14 writer could guarantee a 15% increase in year one, followed by a 2 and 3 increases of 11,000 per week up to 9 weeks, 9,400 from 10 weeks to 19 weeks, and 85 for 20 to 29 weeks. And these weird number tiers are because TV shows are shorter and shorter now, but they're getting paid more or less per episode the same, so they're working per season only 10 episodes. That's not going to cover them for the whole year, essentially.
Yeah, they're getting strong-armed into a situation where they're going to make less money regardless.
And from what it seems like, it's not. It's just a. They're not going to take it. It's not happening. So we're going to.
So what you're saying is the strike is going into overtime.
It's going into overtime, people.
All right. That's all you had to say, Kyle.
Yeah. Tyler, what do you think of the strike currently? You were out there striking, weren't you?
Wednesday, because my friend Allie, she's a huge fan of, so she did the show to help out with it.
Okay.
So strike, so all the cast members showed up for Those Who Died and Leah Michelle.
Okay.
They were saying it was good. All this new stuff came out.
Okay.
A whole chance that it could be resolved September, December.
Okay. You think so? You're thinking December.
That's when the strike will be over.
Interesting. That's gonna
probably.
That's gonna 2024. We'll have very little to work with. We already had
We'll have to.
Dune was pushed back.
Blade.
Yeah, so many things were pushed back. 2024 is looking to be a sad year.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Unfortunately.
For
myriad of reasons.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Just the delays. It's right when they start. Right when everything's resolved, it will still take 5 months. Everything back working again.
Yeah.
So
it'll be a slow readjust.
It's gonna be a nightmare for a while. So that's fun. Yay! Let's go.
Writer's strike.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's get out of news and let's talk about our good, our bad, and our ugly for the week, folks. was loud.
It was intense.
That was so loud in my ears.
fucking
Oh my
intense.
god.
Got me
Let's.
amped.
So, Good Bad and the Ugly, Tyler, is every week we talk about what we've been watching. We do a little good, do a little bad, and a little ugly. So let's start off with ugly. We never start off with ugly. We always start off with good or bad. Let's start off with ugly. And I will start this off. And I was amazed. I thought my good and my ugly were going to be switched this week. And I was surprised that my ugly came out to be this. You were talking about it, Danny, not too long ago with our other friend. And I had to watch it. And it just does not hold up in the way that the original did.
Okay.
That is Escape from LA.
Oh no.
Escape from LA isn't ugly for me. I still enjoy it.
Well, are you
but-
saying it doesn't hold up in the way that Escape from New York does?
Escape from New York.
well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't argue that.
Exactly.
You're right.
Definitely.
And,
Yeah, I agree.
And I remember liking it when I was younger, but like the whole, I thought the surf scene was going to make me go, fuck this movie, where he rides the wave. The point where I said fuck this movie is where he was playing the basketball scene,
Oh,
where he was
that is-
shooting free
yeah.
throws, and the last one, he just throws it and chucks it and makes it, and I'm just like, okay, this is the moment. I don't know about this. But other than that, I still enjoy it. It's still it's a John Carpenter film. I can't hate a John Carpenter film.
But it's a later John Carpenter.
But it is
film.
yeah.
It's
You can
Go ahead.
you can hate John Carpenter films.
Yeah, you
There-
can hate some. right?
There's some of the best films are John Carpenter films, and some of the worst films are John Carpenter films.
True.
He did do that. Didn't he do the newer Halloween?
He did
One of them, like he came back and he did one, and it was just like, wasn't like geriatrics fighting and like.
No,
like-
that was
was
Rob Zombie.
No, because then there was a different this is the post Rob Zombie Halloweens. This is the more recent ones. They made fun of it on like Red Letter Media, and it.
No, I don't.
I don't.
I mean,
Is that John
and-
Carpenter?
I think he came back and he either came back and did the score on one of them, or he came back and actually like produced or directed one.
Plus
of them.
Halloween Ends.
Yes, Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends.
Yeah, that's a bad movie.
Movie.
In my
Okay.
opinion.
That movie was more to the Halloween franchise
Yes.
because they made it into a Twilight love story.
Yeah, it was
15
weird.
minutes of the ending is an actual Halloween film.
Correct. Tyler's correct. It's weird because it's very much like this like romance like teen drama, and then it shifts into like, oh yeah, it's a Halloween film, but then it's like a weird lazy Halloween film that's trying to jam too much in at the end.
Right.
Like as if like the audience is Michael Myers like victim and the movie is a knife that they're just trying to find a spot for, and nothing quite works. So he's gonna try every place possible. But that's all right. That's fair. That's fair. I would never say that like, hey, this movie is campy enough to where it's good. I would
Right.
say if you like Kurt Russell, if you like John
Yeah,
Carpenter,
It was still solid.
if
in many
you have a
ways.
childhood nostalgia for it, then yeah, go back and rewatch it. But if you're a person who's never seen it, yeah, just keep on trucking.
keep on,
Just keep on
going.
trucking. You don't have to take time out of your life for Escape from LA. I would never blame anyone.
All right, Tyler, what's your ugly for the week?
The film
Uh-huh.
theaters. I thought it was gonna be a total, shit show.
Wait, you cut out for a second. What was the name of it?
Name of it.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a total shit show, but
Okay.
I actually ended up enjoying it a bit.
Okay.
Invisible Hand. Landscape with an invisible hand.
Landscape with an invisible hand.
Hmm.
I never heard of this. Tell me about it.
I'm looking it up on my phone. Actor did he did
Uh-huh.
Bad Education.
Landscape with the invisible hand. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, is this like Waiting for Superman, where it's like a documentary about?
No,
Like-
this is
No.
like a weird like alien species, right?
Oh,
Thoroughbred.
it's a sci-fi film. Okay,
Kind of, yeah. Like just drama comedy
I
type.
thought it was more metaphorical, where like the landscape of an invisible hand.
Oh, yeah. I heard of this. I've definitely heard of this. Interesting, but it was on the ugly spectrum for you.
It's just like slow, and there's like by the end of it, you're just saying to the point.
Oh, yeah. It's just kind of like showing you something, but not really having a greater kind of picture to it or message at all. I get that. There's a lot that's pretty much like modern Hollywood.
That's not far off at all.
Oh, here's half a movie.
Yeah.
Enjoy, folks.
But you talked about Dune?
I'm talking about most things. Dune.
Sounds like Dune.
Spider-Verse.
I heard half a movie and all I could picture was Dune.
What else? The Fast
Oh yeah,
X.
Spider-Verse. Well, none of those were ever a full movie except for maybe the first one, and even that one became collapsed under the weight of its own
Right.
franchise. Can't
True.
even see it underneath all that.
Sure. Oh, this has what's his name from the Good Place too, doesn't it?
The Good Place was that? Oh gosh,
I can't
Ted
think of his
Danson?
name. Yes, Ted Danson. Of course, Ted Danson.
All right, I was right.
Ted Danson.
Okay.
With an alien. You got it. Spot
Okay,
on.
Okay,
That's
I'll,
exactly
I'll
the movie.
watch that. I'll check that out.
I don't know.
I would see that movie. Is he in The Good Place?
No,
He's
like
the place,
I
yeah.
had to walk out. I had to walk out and go like to the theater bar
Uh-huh.
and get a drink,
Yeah.
and then walk back.
Okay.
Still like
Uh-huh. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So, landscape with an invisible hand.
Okay.
6.6
Surprised he
on
made it
IMDb.
back. Usually when I walk out in a movie, I'm like, I'm
Right?
done. And I've
He's
only
done.
done that once.
I've
and-
only done it once as well.
What was your movie?
And I already forgot because I was super drunk. And someone said, "You walked out of that movie."
Elektra had probably like 10 minutes left
Elektra,
in it, and I
yes.
dipped. I was like,
I
nah, I
remember
know how
that.
this
You
movie's
told
going to
me that
end,
at
and
one
I
point.
can't do this anymore to myself. And I just left.
'Cause I don't think I would ever walk out of a movie, but when you walk out drunk, apparently you would.
I almost did it on Blade Trinity, too. That was another one. That's when I hit the point where I was like, I need to stop watching these movies in the theater. I just need to start pirating them more.
That's funny.
I will say this. I almost walked out of Oppenheimer.
Oh,
Really?
Because he's like, the audio, it's just so
It's
unbearable.
just so bad. I
can't
can't
hear anything.
this sex scene. God damn it! Let me hear the noises.
No, it was just like after the bomb scene, then they
Oh yeah,
court,
yeah.
and I was just like bored for that.
It was pretty like, yeah, you would think like that would be closer to the third act, but no, the third act is him like getting just like his government clearance dismissed. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But
lot of
pretty
red
good.
tape.
Walked out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It did. There was a lull there for sure, but RDJ killed it in those scenes. Unfortunately, those will probably be seen as the most boring part of those films. So we'll see how it goes for him come Oscar season. All right, Danny, you're ugly.
The 2007 feature film Uwe presents a dungeon siege tale in the name of a king.
What the hell is this? And why does Uwe keep getting money
All right.
to make things?
All right, so a long time ago when Ray Liotta passed away, which is not that long ago, unfortunately, but it was there's a moment in my mind where I was like, I need to just get all his movies and put them on the server and watch them someday and just go through his catalog. And finally, I got around to this, and I don't understand this movie. Like, it's ugly, but ugly bad. There's not ugly good to it. There's no good schlock. It's all bad schlock. It is both a bad movie and an ugly movie. There's nothing redeemable about it.
Yeah.
The cast is insanely good. It's got like Burt Reynolds, Jason Statham, Ron Perlman, and Ray
Damn.
Liotta, and I think it's like Leona Filani is in it. And she was the girl who played like Brandy in Mallrats.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
this
we're
is
going
like
back.
10 years later,
Yeah.
and she's like, I was like, wow, you fell far. So she's in it in the cast, and it's like a good cast, and they're actually not like bad actors when they're actually enjoying the roles they're doing. But none of them seem like they're happy. Everyone seemed like, except for Ray Liotta, which was the sad part. Like, he really hammed it up in a fun way in this movie, but he couldn't
Right.
save it because the production quality's terrible, the CG's terrible, the set design's terrible, the writing's terrible. There's nothing good. Like, I mean, when we were talking about the Adam Eve short, the writing was ugly, but the cinematography, well, just the animation was beautiful.
Animation was
It was
amazing.
nice.
Yeah.
The fight scenes were great, but so it was like redeemable. This movie is just on all quadrants bad, and it's sad because there's just this whole moment where I realized like this kills the love of the franchise for any fans who are like have any hope of ever seeing it come back into some sort of light. Because afterwards, people always remember, like, oh, yeah, Dungeon Siege, that terrible movie. And people are like, no, they were decent computer games. It's like, no, it was just a terrible movie. We don't want to talk about Dungeon
When
Siege
did
anymore.
this come out?
2007.
2007.
When, like, Uwe Boll every year put out, like, a shitty video game
the
movie
Blood
as,
Rain
like, a
came
tax.
out that year.
It's
yeah,
like a tax scam.
Postal
Sometimes
came
twice.
out that year.
Oh, wow. So he was going hard.
Blood Rain 1 and 2 both came out that year.
Postal's,
How crazy
Postal's
is
an
that?
ugly
Like
good
3
movie.
of them.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, there's 3. There's, like, a whole Blood Rain
Oh my god.
franchise.
I didn't even know
Yeah.
there was more of those.
Oh yeah,
films.
there's like a trilogy. It's they're all bad. Postal I enjoyed. I hear the Far Cry movies are actually decent
And then-
enough.
I remember the poster of In the Name of the King actually.
There's a Far Cry movie.
Yeah, there's a Far
Far
Cry
Cry
movie,
movie.
and it stars the German guy from Inglourious Bastards, like the one German guy that
Are
was
you
on.
serious?
The guy who's the drug dealer in SLC
Academy?
Punk,
Oh.
like their pot dealer. I can't remember.
That
his-
dude.
Yeah,
Yes.
supposedly he's
That dude was
good
crazy.
in that movie, and that movie's actually decent.
Interesting.
Which, like, I think
I don't
Postal
believe you.
is decent, but it's also very bad.
It's
That's that movie that
so
the guy Dave, not Kegner, but Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall did that movie because he was going through his divorce and he needed the
He
money
needed
so
money
bad.
and his wife was
And he's
just
like, I
hounding him
took
for
any
so
role,
much.
and then you
so
just have
bad.
him like deliver a monologue
Yeah.
while sitting on a toilet the
Yeah.
whole time, and you're just like, this is fucking hilarious. Postal's funny. Even Uwe Boll gets beat up by the creator of Postal in the movie,
Yeah.
so he knows what's happening. The movie's very self-referential, and that's why I enjoy it. This movie didn't do that. The movie sucked. It just sucked.
True.
Name of the King sucked. It was all bad. And I've been watching a lot of like fantasy movies because I'm playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, so I'm trying to like synergize that joy with other
Right.
things. But it's just like, nope, that didn't work. That did not. Just everybody stay away from that. I should have never even put it on the server.
You
It's
should
just
Get
deleted.
it off.
It's off. It's
Get
done.
it off.
So it is written. So
Alright.
shall it be done?
Let's move on to the good.
Okay.
I will
nice.
go first. So, like I said, I was amazed that this wasn't in the ugly and this was actually in the good.
Okay.
I love this film as a child. I watched it way too much at a young age. 'Cause
Okay.
This movie fucks, and I mean this movie fucks. It's 1981's
Oh.
Excalibur.
Oh shit! You
fucking
beat me to it. I
love
haven't
it.
gotten to watch Excalibur
Yeah.
again since I was a kid, and I was gonna rewatch it too.
Fucking love this film.
I'm so excited to watch it now.
and there's so much just craziness. Like I said, this movie like starts off with King Arthur, right? King Arthur's dad,
father,
and he's
yeah.
just fucking everyone.
Yeah, dude,
And that's how he's born.
He's sowing his oats. The dude, he like turns into other people and fucks people. It's funny.
But it's great. Just everything from like Patrick Stewart at the beginning to like him with the bringing up the round table
Mm-hmm.
to Lancelot having sex with
Guinevere.
which more fucking in this film.
Oh, yeah, that's-
dude, this film is just like dirty.
It's
and
rife with
raw.
love triangles, but it's also like a good fantasy action movie.
There's a good fantasy action movie. Like again, like there's everyone's like really dirty. Like
Mm-hmm.
if this was made today, it'd be properly lit, and
Mm-hmm.
you would get good lighting, so you could color correct properly. This movie is very dark in certain parts.
Feels
and
very
it's-
theatrical,
It's very
like you're watching a play.
you just feel like you're in the scenes, and I love it. I love the weird iron head that Merlin has. It's like a weird like iron head thing. It's
kinda creepy.
crazy, yeah. And it's just the movie you can't make today, and just everyone's getting fucked up. Everyone's just having sex with everyone. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's a great telling of King Arthur.
Yeah.
And it ends great where he's spoiler. He's just, I'm never gonna find the
Grail.
the Grail, the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
And he just gives up the sword, and one of his knights, it wasn't Lancelot, throws it, and the lady in the water grabs it for another knight to have. And it just kind of ends there.
I think it might have been Sir Gawain.
I think it was Sir Gawain.
There's
yeah,
only a few of the
yeah.
knights that actually go on and live.
It's one. It's
Yeah.
that one or the other one that the Green Knight
Yeah.
was based kind of off of or whatever.
That was. You want to go back to
No, I
bad
don't want to go back to
movies.
the Green Knight.
My bad.
I don't.
The Green
know.
Knight.
So that's my good for the week. Tyler, what's yours?
is a movie that came
Mm-hmm.
Bottoms.
Bottoms.
It stars Rachel Sennett.
Okay.
It's from the director of Shiva Baby.
Shiva Baby. Okay.
Interesting.
Bottoms. I don't think
It's
I've ever-
like about. So the premise is it's like about two high school girls set up a fight club to hook
Oh.
up with cheerleaders before
Okay.
graduation.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's
yeah. Go ahead.
satire. It's like over the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wow, the
just-
director looks super young. Super, super young, too. Emmy, what was it? Emma Seligman?
Seligman.
Let's see, do we have
Oh,
any
I see
information on her?
Shiva
So she made The Bottom, Shiva Baby.
and
I
Void.
still haven't watched Shiva Baby.
It's a short.
I've heard of it.
I have actually heard of this one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it though at all.
Interesting.
I do remember reading about it.
Yeah.
For Bottoms,
Uh-huh.
Marshawn Lynch is the teacher.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So he like plays a divorce,
Mhm.
like the guy for a divorce, and like he can act.
Yeah, interesting. He's what is he?
Bucks in this movie.
He's the Falcons. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Atlanta
football.
Falcons. Okay. I was like, which ball does he play?
He plays the one that you use not your feet all the time, but sometimes.
Yes.
Like it's like a modern day
Uh-huh.
satire of
Okay.
American Pie.
That's what I was getting a vibe
Interesting.
of. I was
Okay.
gonna bring that up, as it reminds me of like a modern day take on American Pie, them trying to
I got-
make a contemporary
I
version.
got a lot of
of it.
vibes of what was that movie that
Z
came?
version.
There was a movie that came out like 2 years ago about girls that was kind of like a super badass American Pie movie.
Yes,
that this reminded-
Chaperone,
Book
something like
Smart.
that.
No,
Where it's like
Booksmart.
John
Booksmart.
Cena
What he
was in it,
said,
right?
No, what Tyler's talking about. Booksmart. It's really good. You should check it out if you haven't checked it
Yeah,
out. I'm getting a lot of Booksmart vibes from the
Yeah,
Bottoms
it's like-
movie.
Well, the director did like a Q&A before the
Uh-huh.
movie, and she said like her inspiration was like Jawbreaker, Bring It On, and American Pie.
Mhm.
Jawbreaker, that was a good
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Actually, the original Bring It On's
Interesting.
not that bad either.
I
have a
enjoy it.
nostalgia
I haven't
for that
watched
movie.
it in a while, but from what I remember, I always loved Bring It On.
I was into Kirsten Dunst for a while.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
All right, Danny, you're up. Good.
All right. Well, my good is an animated series from Adult Swim called Apollo Gauntlet.
Apollo Gauntlet. Okay.
It's a mini series, only 6 episodes, so you can jump into it. It's very short. Came out back in 2017. The thing that really struck me about it is that one, I like the comedy because it's kind of got that Adult Swim humor, as most of their animated series do, but they apply that to like a fantasy medieval setting.
Right.
And on top of that, because it's in a fantasy medieval setting, every now and then when they're having fight scenes, they fall into this Ralph Bakshi style of like movement.
Like
and-
rotoscoping almost?
Almost, yeah. Like it's like they're doing a pastiche on it, like almost a rip, and like, but they're. They're accenting it because they're trying to be very tongue in cheek about it. Look, we're doing
Okay.
Ralph Bakshi. Look how much he's
Right.
falling around and coming at the screen with his like, forward motion and shit.
Yeah.
So they'd use that a lot in the like over the top fight scenes, and that caught right away. I was already enjoying the comedy, but when they did that, I was like, oh, I love this. I love this. This is great. It's such a nice love letter because they're
Interesting.
definitely in kind of fantasy scenario settings like Lord of the Rings would be. So it lends itself well to this kind of story. But it's definitely comedic. It's very funny. The action still works because it still has that fluidity and intensity to it. So overall, yeah, I recommend Apollo Gauntlet. Just kind of
Apollo
stuck by, and I never checked it out. And
I've never seen this at all.
I was looking for something that kind of was in like a fantasy realm, and this actually scratched the itch of like both doing that and being something slightly different and funny. So, because I mean, some of these movies are funny, but not on purpose. but
Yeah.
this show outright like was like getting the comedy right.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Apollo Gauntlet.
All right, let's go on to bad. I will start off, and my bad for the week, of course, I checked it out of curiosity, and The expectations were what I expected. Yeah. My bad for the week is Ahsoka. I did not enjoy that, but it's not for the reasons that you would expect, Annie. It's not for the typical generic slog that you're seeing in the Star Wars universe. My bad, why it's a bad, is because the characterization of what you saw in Star Wars Rebels and the characterization of some of the characters in Ahsoka just did not work for me. What's her name? Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays one of the main characters from Rebels, and I like her. I mean, Ramona Flowers, she's awesome. But as like an alien, what's the green aliens with the two tubey thingies?
The Talweeks?
Talweeks, thank you. She did
It's
not.
unfortunate I know
She
that.
did not. It's unfortunate that I know that. She did not capture. I don't think she captured it well.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Also, I wasn't a big Sabine Wren fan. I feel like they're kind of. I guess they're backtracking because the majority of people have never seen Rebels. So they're just retreading to get that fan base in. But
Yeah, because
still, I can't.
directly was like a show for children, and like now they're trying to market to those people as adults, but then other adults as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do that kind of retread. I mean, we know people who skipped all that stuff, but they're watching this because they're like, oh, it's.
Yes.
But which always bothers me.
It makes no sense.
No
to
sense
me.
because it's like you don't like these characters in their stories, but you like their side stories. They're like their sequel stories.
Right.
But it's like you're missing out on what makes a lot of these characters tick. Like I'm not
Exactly.
gonna, like I don't want to come into Lord of the Rings and just read Lord of the Rings and not do The Hobbit. Like I'd like to know about Bilbo and like Gandalf and a lot of these origins.
Right.
I feel like just being like, well, I don't like The Hobbit's kid shit. I just want the fucking Return of the King. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, get connected with these characters. You want to immerse yourself in the universe. Immerse yourself in the universe. If you want to be a cafeteria fan with it, then don't defend your fandom like at all. Just accept that like it's flawed and be like, yeah, because these people will still be like, I like Ahsoka and Star Wars is great, but you know what? You're right. Fuck all that Clone Wars shit. And I'm like, no, just admit that Star Wars has got a problem. It's just it's bloated. It's too bloated, and you're just going through the motions.
Do you like Ahsoka, Tyler?
Ahsoka. I have problems with it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Being like tired of like everybody like, just hype everything up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's everywhere. It's
Then
ridiculous
it's like,
too.
then it just like they get like paid to do that, and then they get invited to the premieres, all that stuff.
Yes.
Eric Voss, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the RLM fucking parodies it perfect with that. Was it the Nerd Crew or whatever?
When they did that Nerd Crew parody.
Yeah, and they get all the free memorabilia, the free like content. They're like, well, we can't say anything negative about the movie because we want to go to that event again, and if we can't get to an event for free, then I have no reason to live.
It's kind of funny because I think I saw like what was it, like something spoilers, secret spoilers or super spoilers. One of those big YouTube channels that just follows Marvel, and they just created a podcast. And
heavy spoilers.
Heavy spoilers. Thank you. And that podcast is literally a genuine version of RLM's parody.
Oh shit!
And I'm just like, this is a joke, right? This is a joke. They're not joking.
Never.
They are not.
Never.
They're 100% in it.
This is their life.
I can't handle it.
No, I couldn't.
can't handle some of these people sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Well, that just it feels like they can't even live like a real life. Like they've become what I refer to as the biological constructs of social rhetoric. They've given up their humanity and
like
they're just ads.
What I will say.
Yeah.
Star Wars died for me.
Yeah.
Right after Rogue One came out.
That's fair.
That's
That's a good jumping off point.
Rogue One was like the best one they ever did in the modern Star
Interesting.
Wars.
We're the opposite. We enjoy Rogue One a lot. We feel like it's probably up there, but we get
I
it.
enjoy it with a caveat.
I get it because it feels like a giant.
The
fan
CG
film.
stuff is gross. The CG stuff is gross, but everything else is like it felt more like a heist movie and a Star Wars film than like all the the sequel trilogy.
But
Like,
more
but then-
people share Tyler's sympathy than ours.
Well, also I would
is
still say that like that's like I'm splitting hairs really. Like all those movies are really bad. I'm just subjectively saying like Rogue One's the least worst.
That's fair.
The
That's
least
fair.
worst.
That's fair.
I mean, Rogue One sometimes to me seems just as bad as like Return of the Jedi, and I'm not a fan of Return of the Jedi, but Empire and New Hope are those movies that are classics to me. But I could
Like,
see
I
they don't edge
rewatched-
great.
Some time ago, they put out the Jedi again in theaters.
Okay. Yeah.
Like months ago, I went and rewatched that with my friend. I turned like, when is this over?
Yeah.
Jedi?
Want to
Return
go
of the
home?
Jedi.
Interesting.
Yeah. The movie gets rough.
You don't like the
Especially-
Ewoks?
Well, because also it's like there's no more nuance because the re-releases have been mined out and added and adjusted and tweaked so much that they don't even look right anymore.
Right.
They look like they're were like a 18-year-old, and then now it's like they're in their 40s and they got Botox and their face is swollen and it looks gross. And you're just like, it's Return of the Jedi, and you're like, oh god, put it away.
Put it away.
Anakin's one of the Force Ghosts. Oh god. Oh, it's Hayden Christensen. No. Kill it. So that's where that movie starts to get really bad for me, is when they re-released it again and it just looked so fucking touched up and like grossed up.
True.
Like the clown makeup and everything.
Yeah.
I just want original unedited old ones, and I just like it for the
Good luck finding them.
I just like it from like these old movies we've been talking about. Like some of those movies from the 80s, those campy fantasy movies are
Right.
great
It's pretty-
because of the way they are. You remake them now, they're horrible. It doesn't translate well. Star Wars getting touched up over time didn't translate well. It lost
True.
its luster and nostalgia. But
All
yeah.
right, let's move on. Tyler, what's your bad?
I see a lot.
Yeah.
It's I've seen so
Uh-huh.
many bad movies
I bet.
this past week.
See?
I bet. Give us one.
I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's on the Strip.
The Strip. No, I have not heard of this.
That
Tell
sounds
us about
familiar.
Back Strip.
it. Okay. Back on the Strip.
Back
okay.
on the strip. Okay,
JB
that.
Smooth. Okay.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I love JB Smooth.
That sucks. So there's a bad one.
Oh no, JB Smooth. No.
Well, he does. He does
Snipes
get.
is in it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
like I didn't really. I was just like, it's a comedy about a young man moves to Las Vegas to pursue his dream of being a magician, only to end up in a male stripper group.
I like the premise. On paper, that sounds amazing.
Especially with this cast.
Yeah.
Then, and like, oh yeah, the group faded out years ago.
Right.
JB Smooth was like one of the original strippers,
Uh-huh.
and then like he brings them all together.
Coming out of retirement.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's so. I don't know if I would release this in theaters.
Who made
It
this? Ooh.
Does sound like
He
an
doesn't
SNL skit.
through a whole sentence,
Uh-huh.
and then they switch to another scene before he finishes the sentence.
Well,
Is he interrupted with explosions like an Aquaman?
yeah, Aquaman is the worst. Where it just,
No, it's just
end,
like-
end everything with
Just
explosions.
Just mid dialogue all the time.
Oh, that's funny.
Weird.
That is funny.
It's just like they don't know where to end it.
They
Okay.
can't organically like write.
Interesting. That's
Who
unfortunate.
funded this?
It's like JB
Uh,
Smooth presents
Chris
his version
Spencer-
of Full Monty.
Chris Spencer, the writer, seems to do a lot of TV stuff. So I wonder if he's just like, nah, man, you just it never ends. It always goes.
You don't. He's all right. This might be this might be a hot take, but this comedian is extremely popular. But to me, it's a red flag when he's in a movie. Kevin Hart. Anytime I
Kevin
see
Hart.
Kevin Hart in a movie, I immediately know. Okay.
He's in this.
Yep, and
Yeah,
that's why I was
he's in
like,
this.
that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I know why this movie's bad. Any movie
But-
Kevin Hart tends to touch doesn't
It's
tend to
only-
be.
Uh-huh.
Clean up for one scene,
Oh,
and
okay.
the scene
Okay, small.
pretty funny.
Okay.
fair
It's
enough.
really he like plays an uptight dad role. He's like, because the kid's like the main kid could only get a job as like a clown
Right.
for a kid's birthday.
Okay.
The wife is checking the kid out because how handsome he is.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart gets jealous and walks up to him,
Mm. Okay.
yells at him, Yeah, it's
Okay.
really funny.
All right. Interesting. Unfortunate that it's not the greatest though.
Yeah. I also thought Kevin Hart was funny and when he's being organic. Like
Yes.
in This Is the End when he's just playing himself.
Yeah.
But anytime he's in a movie, he's too turned up too high, like early Dave Chappelle when he would be in like Nutty
he's-
Professor and stuff.
He's like a pastiche of himself.
Yes,
essentially,
yes.
at
Like it's
this
like a
point.
parody of himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get exactly what you mean. It's so every time I see him in a movie, I'm like, oh no, this movie's probably got problems. But that's good that he was funny. The best part in the movie.
Yeah.
Surprising.
All right, Danny. What's your bad?
All right, my bad is quite bad, so much to the point that we won't spend very much time talking on it. It's called Death Stalker. Came out in 1983. It's from a no-name director called John Watson. Didn't do anything else. Didn't do much in his life at all. He didn't deserve this movie.
Didn't deserve this movie.
This movie is visually proficient enough for its time. Like costume design, makeup, set design, that's fine. None of that stuff was really great. None of that stuff was really bad. But the writing, the dialogue, the acting, all very, very bad. Like everything felt amateur. It didn't feel raw. It didn't feel gritty. It felt amateur.
Not even in a good way.
Not in a good way. No.
Like
It
a
felt like almost
crappy
like
good
stuff
way.
that you would see parodying things like this back in the day. And like
Okay.
even this trailer doesn't do it justice because the version of this trailer is not the one I watched, is the remastered one. It's
Interesting.
cleaner. Everything looks fine. And see, even that that stuff fits for the time. But the way the characters deliver it, like in that scene right there, when you're hearing him talk, you can barely hear him because the wind is picking up so aggressively.
So like
There's-
just bad
yeah.
production.
And then the mask, they don't dub it well. They don't do any ADR. So like you're hearing people talk through masks.
It's like the
So
Doctor Doom in the old
yeah, in
Fantastic Four.
the fucking. Oh, you're talking about like the one that didn't get released, like the
Yes.
fucking not Richard Donner, but that other director who did a
What's
bunch of
his name?
slock.
Yeah,
He
you
did
know
so
which-
much garbage. I can't believe I don't remember him right now, but I can remember Richard Donner because I think it's Superman 3. But
Which one?
Uh,
Fantastic Four?
the one that never got released, so they did it so they
1994
so they did it
one.
so they could keep the rights. It was
The 1994 one.
yeah, so they could keep
No, wait, it's not that one. Wait, what was it?
wasn't that it?
Fuck, I forgot. Here's the documentary.
Did
Roger Corman.
Corman? Yeah, I was
Roger,
just saying
the Roger Corman one.
Yeah, the Roger Corman one. So it's
Yes.
like that with where the rubber mask and you could hear them behind it. We're like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And I'm like, how did they not realize this sounded bad and like cut it in ADR like dubbing? I don't think they even knew how to do that.
Right.
That's what I meant. It felt very amateur. Like a lot of stuff, it felt like this was a movie that managed to get released on the big screen,
Yep.
but was done like by a high school level production team. And I'm like, this would be dope if like a high school did this, but like the actual movie company did this, and that's what threw me off.
People got paid.
Yeah, people got paid, but there's nobody in it that you'd recognize. It gave me like Kroll vibes at first, so I was like, oh, I love Kroll. Like, this will probably be the right amount of camp
Yeah.
that'll have fun. That just made me angry because I'm like, I can't hear what they're saying. The choreography's bad. Like, the set breaks when they're fighting. So,
Right.
or not the set, but their weapons break sometimes when they're fighting. And so they do bad cuts to like fix it. And then he's like coming in with a different weapon. And you're like, wait, that doesn't even like match up. It almost felt like that
unfortunate.
someone, like, everybody phoned this in and nobody at one point was like, let's do some quality assurance.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've talked
Damn.
about it too much. Death Stalker, don't watch it. Just forget its name.
Just forget.
Forget what I said. Erase my life.
All right. Well, good movies, everyone. Good
Some bad movies, some
good,
ugly
pretty
movies.
bad movies,
Some good
actually.
TV shows even.
Yeah.
Mixing it up.
Let's get into our main topic for the week, and that is Attack of the Dock. Now, we were big G4 fans back in the day. I was a bigger Tech TV fan growing up, and right when Attack of the Show started, I was going off to college, so I started to drop off at that point. So, like, Tech TV still always had a big place in my heart.
Because you like screensavers more.
I was a big Screensavers
that's the proto
fan
Attack of the
back in the
Show.
day. But I did still watch a lot of Attack for Show when I
Yeah.
could.
It was good late night background.
Overall, let's start with you, Tyler. What is your kind of nostalgia experience with Attack of the Four? Attack of the Four?
Attack of the
Attack of the Fantastic Four, starring Roger Corman.
Starring.
He's not directing.
He's in it.
No, he's in it. Attack of the
I
Show.
don't know. I started having nightmares whenever I saw Roger Corman's name
Sure.
coming out
course.
as
That's
potential
fair.
director.
Yep.
That's a normal reaction. I respect that.
That's funny. But yeah,
The Dock.
what's your experience with Attack of the Show?
Or Attack of the Duck. Attack of the Show.
Attack of the Show, yeah, or the
Nostalgia
doc.
wise.
You're good friends with the creator, Chris Gore. Why don't you tell us about how you met Chris Gore?
I met him back in January of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Like, named Eric Weber.
Okay.
Because this is when like theaters were reopening again.
Okay.
Like, he just wanted to create like a meetup,
Got it.
meetup.
Right.
So we all meet at Yard House in Burbank, and then we go see a movie. Like, yeah, like that's how Chris started going.
Interesting.
Oh, to
So
mutual
just
friends.
kind of just like
Chris for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
That's
you
pretty
just
cool.
kind of
I
all
realized
started
it was
this...
like
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
before TV, but like
Mhm.
I don't know it was him because it's been off so long
Right.
that like and yeah, and then becoming really good friends.
Cool.
Early screenings with him.
Nice. Yeah. You
Like
guys...
on Monday, I'm seeing Equalizer 3.
There's a third Equalizer.
Yes.
He's
That's-
I thought he
Dude,
made
there's a-
everything equal though.
Dude, there's an Equalizer
Like-
TV show.
He's,
It's weird.
Yeah.
he's failing at making things equal.
No, nothing will ever be equal.
Nothing.
That's cool though. To see.
Nothing.
That
Okay.
would be fun to see Equalizer though with Chris
Yeah.
Gore. Like
Yeah.
the third Equalizer with Chris Gore. Like that's cool. Like I
Right.
dig that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, definitely awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Danny? You're kind of nostalgia with Attack of the Show.
Well, obviously, a few episodes back, my good was the Attack of the Doc.
Yes.
I liked it, but I also respected that it was more of like Chris Gore's love letter to his time, like kind of how we're talking about our times with Attack of the Show.
Yes.
So it's like it was nice to kind of see it from his perspective. So you got that the love and appreciation of that time was genuine, and we framed a lot of our stuff around like how we look at movies, kind of with our good and the bad and the ugly.
Pretty
we kind of
much,
mirror
yeah.
his like rent and buy and pass and all that.
Yes,
So-
exactly.
So I've always appreciated Chris Gore's like take on movies, but also his voice about movies and how he kind of channels what it reminded me of like a younger Kevin Smith when you would hear him rant about movies and have like a good long in-depth take on what a movie what makes what he likes about a movie and what makes him passionate about it. I always appreciated that Chris Gore could kind of do that on the fly and consistently do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even to this day, like he still maintains that ability to talk about a movie passionately and kind of get you engrossed in listening about it and why he likes it, and you can kind of connect with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kevin Smith, he's lost that for sure because he's busy crying over the new Ghostbusters movies. But I mean, like, it's nice that there's still someone out there that could talk like shit about movies in a fun way and also be like, I guess to say fearless. Chris Gore is one of the last. To me, Chris Gore is one of the last fearless movie critics that
Interesting.
exist. And that's why I always enjoy his takes on movies,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're different. Like he watches some stuff that I'd be like, I can't do that, but he's still like, oh no, I'll tell you why this is good, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I like that better. I'll enjoy that instead of
Hey.
diving into it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, repeat that. Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Send Chris the whole podcast.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Will do.
Well, that would be amazing
For sure.
Yeah, if we could chat
Yeah.
just about any
We would
movies
love
and
to hear
stuff.
what Dan does.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll get him. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, one thing that I thought was interesting about the podcast is the focus so much on Kevin Pereira. I wasn't expecting that as much, even though they are the hosts, Kevin Pereira, Olivia Munn, for the most part. One thing also is that they kind of just skipped over like Kevin Rose, skipped over.
Yeah, there was a big.
Skipped over.
There was a big lack
like,
of, but
Jude
he's
Lane,
more of a
what's his name?
screensavers
He
guy, in my
is,
opinion.
yeah.
He
That's
felt
the
like
thing.
the last leg of screensavers hanging
And
on.
he was that right when essentially Tech TV came down from San Francisco to LA. They got essentially they got Kevin Rose and another guy that I forget his name, and then he left for a while, right? And then that's when we get Kevin Pereira, and they just rebranded.
It's like Chris
everything.
Hardwick on there for a bit.
Chris Hardwick was on there till the end.
He was? He was
Yeah.
part of Attack of the Show?
Yeah.
Attack of the Show all the way till the end. Yeah.
Okay, I forget about that.
Yeah.
I thought he was like Kevin.
No,
or
no,
Kevin
he
Rose,
was in the later
co-host
years.
for a bit.
He was in the later years for
Okay.
sure.
They went through a lot of hosts and stuff. I think the Kevin Rose thing or Kevin Pereira thing makes sense because you can follow a line of his career through the evolution of G4 and Tech TV into
Yes.
Attack of the Show.
Yes.
And that kind of culminates with the like the growth of the show fruiting into like this overall complete thing.
Right.
And so I guess picking him as like a nice anchor fits, but also it makes sense because there was a good camaraderie between him and Chris Gore
True.
a lot. So I could see them as like it's a good mirrored position from you and your friend experiencing this television series come to life.
I genuinely hated 2009 Comic-Con because of Attack of the Show.
Yeah, because
I was just like, you
it was a
fuckers
nightmare.
are blocking
Oh,
everything.
They shut it down.
It was ridiculous.
Shut it
that was
down.
like the first
Gridlock.
year where I was like, oh, this is different.
That was the year that we were like, okay, WonderCon. Let's do WonderCon.
Yeah.
I
and
think
things-
Comic-Con is too
Comic-Con's
big
gotten
for our little
insane.
pond.
Yeah, it's still pretty insane. It's
Well,
only
yeah.
getting more insane at this point.
I mean, and this was back when.
It's still haven't even.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's back when they only had like a few Comic-Cons, and now there's like every city has a Comic-Con. so-
everyone has one. Yeah.
So there'd be people coming from like all around the country just to
Mhm.
go to this one Comic-Con, and G4 was there, and it was like, whoa, this is insane.
Yeah.
Everyone's elbows to elbows. It did not smell great.
It did not. It still doesn't.
It still
It
never did.
still does not smell great whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate. What else could we talk about Attack of the Dock? Any favorite moments that you didn't know about? One that stands out for me is the fact that what was it? I can't even think of it right now. Is
It didn't
that
stand out that much.
I guess it didn't
You
stand
lost
out
it.
that much. I did. I just straight up lost it. So the thing that stood out the most does not matter that much. I think it was the nope. Danny, stall.
All right.
Stall
All
for
right,
me.
So the thing that stood out the most to me that I had not seen before was that little in between docu trip that they did, like the joking trip, where like some of the people who were a part of a lot of the side stuff on Attack of the Show got together and road trip to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like Chris Gore set up that nice little like docu-series road trip to Comic-Con. Like I had actually not seen any of that. I don't remember catching that when that was coming out. So going back and seeing them reference it during the documentary, that was actually really cool. That was a nice little like behind the scenes moment that you would find in like a DVD special features, but it's actually laced into the documentary, and so I like that a lot. Because I missed out. I would have never known about that. I was like, oh, they did have like a little... Because that reminds me of stuff you would see online on like certain websites like GameSpot.com. And they were like,
Right, back in the day.
we're going to E3 and we're going to make like a funny video of us like getting our like editors together to going to E3. And like, so you get to see that little behind the scenes. So that was cool that they did that. That was a good idea on his part too, to like kind of take the fervor and fandom behind Comic-Con before the fever pitch had been grabbed. Like,
Sure.
he was like there at the infancy of the media starting to focus more on Comic-Con as like a
Yeah.
big event.
Absolutely.
And then after that, it was just like the floodgates every year. I mean, I feel like G4 made it more popular than it could have ever been, and direct in part to Chris Gore, like, which is wild when you think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's like even more insane now when you look at like certain restaurants that are like in Gaslamp and whatnot, and they're renting out their place now for $250,000 for the weekend, and you're just like, what the fuck has happened here?
Real estate around San Diego in like July for Comic-Con is like trying to get ad space for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing where
Yeah.
you're just like, I want to strike while the iron's hot and everybody is here.
But this year we had a lack of actors and writers, which made it kind of nice.
Yeah,
Kind of nice. I
a
enjoyed it
different
this
vibe.
year. Yeah.
A different focus.
So maybe we'll see more of that in the future. I doubt it, but
I mean, I'd like the aspect of a more fan-oriented event and a less corporate commercial
Yes.
event. I mean, yeah, that would be
I mean
great.
that would
but
be cool. But
that's a fluke. Those things only happen because of specifics and not by design,
true.
unfortunately.
All right, let's wrap it up, guys. We've talked a lot. Any final thoughts on Attack of the Dock? I liked it. It seems like we're all solid on this film. Tyler, what's your thoughts? What's your final thoughts on the film?
The best documentary that ever come out with.
Uh-huh.
You know, for like a side show
Yeah.
that like really happened with it, like the behind the scenes
Right.
Like
yeah.
what- down.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got the
That was
most
great.
info
That
ever
was
about
solid.
like we would have never gotten a lot of this info without this documentary.
Tried to reboot it, and you saw how it turned out.
Ooh, that was rough.
Yeah, so I just want to put it out here. I'm not a petty person, but, you know, one of the people that tried to cancel me in 2020 actually got an internship for G4. And I left the whole time while they were trying to be, we're coming back. And I'm like, no, man, I'm going to comment on every single post you do until you go down. And they went down. So anyways, that's me being petty for the week.
It's Kyle's petty moment
It's
of the week.
Kyle's petty
We're
moment
gonna
of
get
the
a
week.
jingle for that.
I know. I'm
Work
gonna
on
get a
it,
jingle
work on it, work
for
on
my
it.
petty moment.
He's gonna invest into it. He's leaning into it.
Final thoughts, Danny, on Attack of the Dock?
I can mirror that a little bit. I do agree that them coming back and not understanding the fan voice and trying to bring that back, it's just like it illustrates the problem with a lot of corporate America trying to reboot these franchises. It's like these are loved things that are loved by specific fans in a certain way.
Yeah.
When you come back at it in a negative way and tell them to like it anyways, this is the result you get.
Exactly.
And that the Attack of the Dock kind of illustrated that very well. That was like more the darker side of the doc, where
It
you're
was
just
great.
like, yeah, why did they? Oh, this was rough. Oh,
was
this
rough.
is not.
It was kinda like
not
he-
comfortably flowing.
He brought it up and then just moved past it.
Well,
and
you
then-
could tell Chris Gordon was not happy about how they approached it too, because he was a genuine fan about it.
Yeah.
Like Attack of the Show and G4 was something dear to him,
Yeah.
which the documentary illustrates perfectly. So yeah, my final thought is that this is nice because we get kind of like a little bit to see how the sausage was made, but then also we get a nice love letter to what was good about Attack of the Show, and even
Absolutely.
as him being the direct point of view, but still us being the fans.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was interesting. I like to see it. I like the last line in which he was just all like, when he kind of skipped past the whole reboot of G4 and he
Yeah.
said like the internet, that's like everyone is doing what G4 is.
Yes.
Like, you are G4. Essentially, he was like,
Yeah.
you're G4 and you're
Yes.
G4 and you're G4.
Yeah,
but
everybody
essentially,
look under your chairs.
yeah.
It'll be a
But
mirror.
it's just like, yeah, what people are doing on
Yes.
the internet these days, what
Yeah.
we're doing right now is essentially what they did, and like you can't recreate that.
You could take the
lightning in a
segments from
bottle.
their show, and all the big companies started making TV shows like Tosh.0 and things like that were mirroring what they were already doing
Yeah.
on Attack of the Show.
Exactly.
Like you can go wholesale on each segment and find a TV show that corresponds to it.
Yeah.
They did it as an entire series.
Yep.
It's wild.
Good stuff. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. That'll do it for us this week. Tyler, where can they find you? Go ahead, shout out your stuffs.
You could follow on Instagram at Tyler Disney Official,
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter Tyler Disney 12.
Mm-hmm. X.
X. and my YouTube
Uh-huh.
Tyler Disney.
Tyler Disney. All right, go ahead and check out Tyler on the internet. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely have you come on more in the future for sure. This was fun. Be sure to check out freespeechgeek.com as well as FSG Media on X and Instagram. But that'll do it for us this week. Danny, take us out.
A good sign of the end is nigh is when more cop reruns are on than your original programming.
There
Food
you
for
go.
thought.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you love this podcast, we have a lot more content over at freespeechgeek.com. We have upcoming convention coverage, news about your favorite weeb shit. We also do in-depth takes like, are some fans more religious than Christians, Jews, and Muslims? Spoiler alert, yes, some of you crazy people are. All that and more over at freespeechgeek.com. Go check it out, you psychopaths.